Hello, hi, and welcome to Empathic Fire. I'm your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Leo in mid-January 2021. Hello, Leo. How are you guys doing? I hope that you are doing well. All right, friends, welcome to mid-January. How was the start of your year? Kind of crazy here in the States a little bit. Leo, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're safe, happy, healthy, and secure at this time. I'm wishing that for everybody. That's always going to be my wish for people. And particularly at this moment, I'm advising as strongly as I can for people to do the right thing. Make good choices, okay? Just generally treat people how you want to be treated. And choose kindness and goodness. Make good karmic intentions in this world, because that's exactly what we need. I mean, we need a lot of things, but that would definitely contribute, okay? I don't want to get too much into it. If it comes out in the reading, or, I'm not going to censor myself too much, but that's my general wish for everybody, is that we do the right thing, make good choices, treat each other well, because that's what we all deserve, okay? But Leo, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's do the regular spiel for you guys. No other announcements, so let's just go ahead and get into it. So, Leo, anything you want from me, it is in the description box, okay? If you want the timestamp, it's down there. Information on how to purchase a personal reading with me is down there. Any questions before you place an order, just email me, and I will answer you as soon as I can. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, then the link for that is down below as well, okay? All right, Leo, let's get into it. Let's find a story for you guys. Let's see what's going on with mid-January energies and messages for Leo, please. What's going on for Leo in mid-January 2021? Please show me. Bridge, yeah, good. Good, okay, sure. They're like, yeah, bridge, good. Oh, maybe that's not so good. Let's try it again. Leo, mid-January. Leo, mid-January. Yeah, that's the last one. Thank you. Alright, let's see what's going on, guys. Leo, mid-January 2021. The Wheel of Fortune, aka the Wheel, in this deck. Okay. I think we'll take it like that. 6 of Cups. And then the 4 of Swords. Alright. Okay. Leo. It's on hold. It's what this feels like. It's on hold. It's on hold. It's on hold. Leo, I think you... Oh, let me show you the cards first. So, Wheel of Fortune. Major Arcana for Sagittarius. Could be dealing with the Sagittarius. You don't have to be. 6 of Cups. And the 4 of Swords. So it's on hold right now, Leo. Maybe another way we could interpret that is it feels like it's on delay. However, whatever you're expecting, whatever resolution, whatever revelation, whatever stroke of luck or change of fortune that you are anticipating, for good or for bad, it is developing, but it's not taking shape. And so, for now, rest, recuperate, reflect. Some Leos need to do a little bit more work on the self, along as you continue the journey. Because even though it's on pause and on delay, I mean, that's essentially what it is: pause, delay. It doesn't stop, but it slows down a bit. You know, we take a temporary break before we get back into whatever we're getting into. So in that break time, tend to yourself. It's like a pit stop in a car race, I suppose. The race is still ongoing. You still have to go do your laps, but you pull in, get a fresh set of tires. I assume that's what they do. I don't watch NASCAR or anything like that, but I think that's the gist of it. You go in there, you get some repairs done to your car, you get some brand new shit, and then you get yourself back out there and try and win that race. So for some of you, this is something competitive, it feels, especially with that analogy that just popped into my mind, because again, I don't watch NASCAR. But so some of you, this is a competitive thing, or this is something to do with your career, or something to do with your performance. More, I think the center, or the main vein of your energy right now, Leo, is of a spiritual type of race, or a spiritual type of journey, or focus on your spiritual center and all that kind of stuff. Okay. For many of you, this has been a lifelong pursuit, whether you've known it or not, with the Six of Cups in the center there. Okay. So what do we see? We see the young boy getting his puppy, and then we see the older man with his fully grown adult dog. So it's been an investment since you were little for some of you. And especially if this is like something to do with your spirituality, which is heavily coming through with the wheel, which is not normally, I think, on its face, a deeply spiritual card, but it makes sense. Again, Sagittarian energy. Also, I neglected to mention fixed sign energy as well there with Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio. You could be dealing with any of those signs as well, or not at all. But I feel as though since you were little, in some sense, you've been working towards this moment, working towards whatever you know is shifting for you. And it's just not there yet. It's just not there yet. Okay? It could be the timing, because divine timing is often something we talk about when we see the wheel show up. So the timing, you might be ready in your mind and your heart or whatever, but your spirit might not be ready. Or, jeez, didn't mean to throw that towards you guys. Or Six of Cups can talk about having a particular connection, Leo, or a particular relationship, right? So, I mean, we see a boy and a dog and a man and a dog. So maybe you're waiting on a dog. I don't know. I mean, that's like very much an interpretation of the art, but it's more of waiting for a companion, waiting for, or at least having a companion. And maybe you or they are just not at the right junction point. Junction point. Very interesting. Okay. Again, this thing of driving. So they're giving me this sensation. And okay, let me address that very quickly, and then we're going to come back to this visual. Six of Cups. A lot of people, tarot readers, and those who maybe don't read tarot, but at least you follow tarot, will interpret the Six of Cups as a soulmate card. Here comes the caveat. You ready? Jay's caveat. Soulmates don't have to be romantic. Soulmates do not always have to be a cookie-cutter perfect relationship that's full of sunshine and rainbows. Soulmates, especially now that we're shifting into this new paradigm that many of us recognize in various different ways for various different reasons, the epitome of what soulmate is and the understanding of it, I think, is due for a little bit of a reinterpretation, or not reinterpretation, but an updated understanding. Let's call it that, okay? But going back to, so if we are talking about a connection between you and another person, or you and even a dog, or some other creature that has some sentient awareness and a soul to it, aka anything on Earth, any animal on Earth at least, I feel as though what they gave me with the visual was, it's like going on a road trip with someone, but you're in separate cars. Have you ever done that? And it doesn't have to be a road trip, but just like going anywhere and you're driving in separate vehicles. As much as we hope to constantly either be able to drive parallel to one another, there's going to be times where you're approaching the red light, they hit the brake, you hit the gas, and you go, or not the red light, but the yellow light. Don't go through red lights. Probably shouldn't go through yellow lights, but I do it. I'm a baddie. Anyway, so you approach the yellow light, one car hits the brake, and the other continues to hit the accelerator. So now we're separated. We're still going the same way. Meet me over at Kroger. Meet me down at the Dunkin'. Meet me over here. Do whatever. We're going somewhere together as spiritual partners. But if someone hits the brake at the yellow and the other person hits the accelerator at the yellow, we're now separated by space and time. Wheel. Does that make our journey any less notable or important? Does that make the destination any less, of importance or whatever. No, it just changes the arrival time. It changes possibly what we can do once we arrive there, something like that. And this is not me saying, by the way, because we're going to talk about it. This is not me saying, Leo, put your life on hold, or Crosswatcher, or whoever this is, whoever resonates with this message. No, but my point is, I feel there's a distance, like I said, a pause in the action, or a pause in what you know, because I feel a great knowing in this reading for somebody. Somebody knows something, and all they can do is rest in the knowing. Rest. All you can do is rest in the knowing. Four of Swords. Oh, wow. I didn't even notice that until I put this up to the camera. So there she is in a nest, Four of Swords, laying next to this stitched piece of, this stitched heart or whatever that is. Oh, boy. I am not saying, Leo, put your life on hold. Not at all. And maybe, oh, that's, okay, here we go. That's very interesting. Okay. So, Leo. Going back to this analogy of traveling somewhere, you in your car, them in the other car, whoever it is, friend, family, lover, dog. That's cute. Because as soon as I said dog and I thought of a dog in a car, I was like, what? And then there's like I think it's a Dr. Seuss book or something like that, where I think it's called Go Dog Go. Anyway, whoever's in the other vehicle, they're stopped at the red light that you blew through when it was on a yellow, and you're continuing down the road. There is potentially, on either side, for even you, Leo, or whoever resonates with knowing there's something going on, that maybe the person that you think you're making the road trip with is not the one you're making the road trip with. So, again, this idea of soulmates, one, being romantic partners, not true all the time. We could be talking about friendship or family members, right? And number two, not only always being positive, but always being present is also, maybe I should introduce a third caveat, that soulmate relationships, although I'd sometimes say it and I fold it into one of the 2 points that I usually make, soulmates are not always forever in our lives. You know, I think there's this very romanticized idea that a soulmate and you will always be in physical contact with each other. You're always going to be present in each other's lives. That is not true. You'll be in spiritual contact as long as you choose to be, as long as you keep the spiritual contract. You can break it at any time if you want. It's difficult to do, but you can. But physical, 3D, corporeal contact is not a guarantee. It just doesn't make sense. It's not possible, right? So you are riding and saying, let's go to the mall, or let's go over here and do this thing together in our separate cars. And then they take the wrong exit and it takes them 50 miles out of the way. And then along comes another car. And that person is actually who you're going to complete the journey with. So for some of you, and this came up in Libra's reading. And they're not here, but I mention it because it's fresh in my mind. I think it was Libra's reading. I may have mentioned it in another reading. But there is, for some, a swapping, for lack of a better word, quote unquote, swapping of soulmates. And that is what is the delay, or that's the whole, it's a thing, but it's not the thing you're expecting. Because that's also what happens with the wheel, Sagittarian energy, the unexpected, seeing things from a different perspective or gaining new information. And based on the new information that you obtain, alchemizing it, molding it into a new vision, or working with new information. That's that dynamic between Sagittarius and Gemini. They are the information getters. They are the ones that learn and then disseminate. They love the new thing, or investigating the new thing, and then acting according based on new information. That's, some of what Sagittarius and I don't know why I'm mentioning Gemini, but they're the opposite of Sagittarius, so maybe that's why. But I hope you get what I mean. So some of you have a soulmate connection, regardless of what type, regardless of whatever labels you want to put on it, and you believe it's one person, but it might be someone else. And actually, it's not even that it's, because there's this idea, I'm going to address this, and I've never really addressed it on my channel, but I see that 2021 is going to be the year that Jay addresses things that have been going on in the community that are not necessarily, to me, sort of realistic. And the Age of Aquarius is about realistic things. It's about, as much as it's innovative, as much as it's about evolution and revolution, it's also sobering. Aquarian, this Age of Aquarius, Leo, in case you did not know, is following the Age of Pisces. Pisces is not a sober energy, not calling Pisces a bunch of drunks or anything like that. But the energy and the archetype of what Pisces is, it's festive, it's illusionary, right? Aquarius is not about illusions at all. Okay? So that's what I'm sensing here, is like some people, like I said before, believe you have one soulmate. That's not true. Some people believe that a soulmate is supposed to be with you through thick and thin. They're supposed to stand by you. You guys are tightly knit together. You're stitched together at the soul level. That is true, possibly. But again, you can de-stitch because you made the stitch. If you believe in, if you, here we go. If you believe that you created a contract with another person or another soul before you incarnated on this planet, why would you not be able to unstitch yourself? If I made it, I can unmake it. You get me? So, but let's say you believe that it's supposed to exist as a stitch together in the 3D. You can unstitch in the 3D too. You get me? So I feel here the swap is not really a swap. It's just a realignment, again, with the wheel and it's being on pause, right? So there's a realignment, and it's not really stitch work, although it kind of is reminding me of that, because she's in this nest, right? Because I'm using this idea of stitched. So I just want you to get like the visual cue of why maybe stitch is important. Because even though she's in this nest, it kind of looks like a bunch of needles and threads or something like that. So there is this creation. You can create and uncreate whatever you want, Leo. And some of you are realizing that, and some of you are coming into that idea of reimagining what your soulmate relationship is with one particular person or in general. Okay, it doesn't have to be settled on one person. You could have had, maybe some of you realize, I got more than one, Jay. Some of you might, I know I got more than one, but I want this one. And maybe you're like, well, maybe I'm putting too much emphasis on it being that one. And so you might be resting, taking time out in the pit stop to really say, well, do I really want to be traveling this road with this person? But to bring it back to that original analogy of you, someone going through the yellow and the other person being held back at the yellow. It could be in some cases that you're not swapping, but you are waiting for that person to catch up with you. But again, do not put your life on hold. I think most of you are not. Okay, I don't think I have to tell you that. But there is a potential for this to become the norm, this Four of Swords. Four of Swords is, again, about extensive rest, gaining back energy or reflecting on things, and there is a chance to stay in that mode. I feel some of you might get really complacent there, might become comfortable there because, you know, maybe it's tiresome. I mean, again, the idea is you're resting, so you might be very tired and you might need some time off from this road trip. Like in America, to go from one coast to the other, that's a long journey. Because I was talking, well, not I was talking, but I was watching something on YouTube. People who come from Europe, like the UK or Germany or something like that, and you know, it's like, oh, let's take a trip to France. I don't know what accent that is, but whatever. Like, oh, I want to go to France, okay. Or even within the UK, to go from one side, to go from the north to the south, south to the north. What's that? A day's trip to get from one side of the country to the next. Doesn't take that long. In America, or any other large country such as China or Russia or Brazil or something like that, that has huge land mass, one country, to go from one end to the other, you better pack several lunches. So that's what I'm sensing here, is like, because of how long this journey has been for some of you, Six of Cups, since you were a younger person, maybe when you were a child, Some of you, maybe just over the past several years, it's all relative to your experience. Maybe now you're just like, damn, maybe why am I on this trip? Do I even want to continue traveling this road? That could be also what you're reflecting on with the Four of Swords. So let's see what else is going on here for Leo, please. Again, don't put your life on hold for other people. That is something I myself have had to struggle with. Oh, and then here comes the Three of Cups. So Jesus Christ. But I stand by it because that's the energy I'm projecting. And if people want to come around, they come around. If they don't, they don't. I'm not no one monkey, no one dog, no one anybody is going to stop this show. And I recommend that for everybody, not just Leos, okay? Justice, interesting. And what else, please? For Leos in mid-January, thank you. And the Eight of Swords. Okay, so there's that potential to get stuck. We don't like it. We're going to address it first, I think. Yep, they're like, get it out the way. So Eight of Swords. So there's that potential to get caught sort of in, I don't want to say analysis paralysis, but kind of get stuck hitting the snooze button. As much as there's rest to be had, there's such a thing as being too rested, right? There's such a thing as sleeping past a deadline or sleeping past when you need to wake up and get back down to business, right? So I think some of you, Leos, need to be, for lack of a better word, synchronized with divine timing. Don't get too ahead of it. Don't get too behind it. You want to get in. I mean, it's sort of, again, like planning a road trip. You know, now that we're in this age of technology, we can really plan a road trip to, aside barring any type of construction or accidents or any type of mishaps like that, we can really time it so that we can get from one point to the next, one starting point to the destination in a timely fashion because of all the technology we have. So it's within your wheelhouse, it's within your capability, Leo, to really not get too far ahead of yourself and not fall behind either. Find that perfect window of when to wake up and begin to work on this, when to power down and take a few days off or take some time for yourself and do all that kind of stuff, and then when to get back out there and work on things. And to go back to the Six of Cups for a second, it feels like many of you, this has a lot to do with your spiritual acumen, to do with your spiritual desires, your spiritual savvy, your awareness of how legit part of the process you are. You know, there is, you know, even though I mentioned before this idea of divine timing and things being on pause, that doesn't mean, okay, there it is. When the universe is on pause, that doesn't mean you stay on pause. Like I said, don't fall behind. And just because things aren't moving in this one general direction or this one area of your life doesn't mean that all other areas of your life get to be on pause. If your spiritual uptick or awakening is kind of stuck right now, or you feel held back in some type of way, or you feel there's no payout right now, concentrate on your material world. If your material world is stuck, maybe work on your social connections. You know what I mean? Like, put work in where you can. Don't stop all progress. Because that would be this Eight of Swords. The potential for you to rest and be overly rested, or to just kind of become complacent, I think I might have used that word earlier, could lead to this. So that's for you or someone you're dealing with, they're telling me, or someone you're dealing with, where we just get stuck in this mindset of, well, it's not working, or it's not happening the way I thought it would work, and there's nothing I can do to change my situation, right? You know, this road trip that I was planning with my friend, we're going to meet up here, and we're going to take this exit, and then they forgot to fill up with gas, so they had to stop earlier, but I kept going on the road, and this is just a ruined trip. It's like, no, we can edit that perception. So this Eight of Swords, I feel you can get out of or get over relatively easily if you remain aware. Because look at it. It's a reflection in a mirror. It's not what's actually going on. In the mirror, hands are tied, blindfolded, outside of the mirror, totally free to move. Do what you want. Okay? What else? So, that's the balance. That's the justice of the situation. You are in control, Leo, of your own life. Like I keep saying with these freaking car analogies today, you're in the driver's seat. As much as you might be thinking and hoping to have a significant soul connection with a person, you still might. But you can't drive your car any differently to compensate for how they're driving their car. If y'all got separated, God forbid any type of calamity, they're driving their car. You can't drive it for them and they can't drive yours for you. You get me? And that's the crux of the situation. That's the true balance here. There we go. We're going to go into that thing that I was always perplexed about since a little kid. It was legit. Since I was in like middle school or even elementary school. When I first got this whiff of soulmates, and I would hear it in movies, and people would, it would be like in a birthday card that I would read that someone gave to my mom or some shit like that. I'm just like, what? The connotation that a soulmate is, and that soulmates are half of a person. That you add us up and we make one. No. No, 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 no. Or rather, you add us up in the sense like I'm half, you're half. Half of a half equals one. Half and half equals one. No, it should be 1 + 1 = 1. Which is a 3, technically. Right? 1 + 1 = 1, which is also 3. Do you get me? So I've never understood how a soulmate completes you. Without you, I'm not whole. What do you mean, Sally? I'm a full-fledged human being. No. That is a sacrifice, and that is a giving over of your own power. That's that old paradigm. That's that illusionary Pisces dreamy romanticized shit. We're in Aquarius now. What's the real deal? I'm whole, you're whole. 1 + 1 = 1. Yes, we two individuals come together to make a new unit, and then it equals 3 because we have to respect all 3 facets of this union. You, me, and the both of us together. Those are the 3, quote unquote, individuals, or the 3 sections, the 3 entities, the 3 portions, the 3 factors that make this thing work. That's balance. That's karmic or cosmic justice at play. Interesting. This is such a deep reading, even though I don't think there are many, quote unquote, deep cards out here. But Leo, if it resonates, you get it. Hopefully, I think. And I really think, Leo, how she's holding the sword in her own hands, you have the power to wield that sword of justice in your own life. If other people or the situation at hand doesn't give you the justice that you're seeking, not to say that you should be a vigilante or get vengeance. That's not what I mean. But you then go into the mode of, I'm going to set it right. I'm going to recalibrate this for myself. I'm going to bring in the balance that is necessary for my wellness, for my portion of the journey. Again, you drive your own car. Don't worry about what other people are doing in their vehicles as much as you can. Okay? 3 of Cups, and it comes under the wheel. So this 3 of Cups often, well, not this 3 of Cups, but 3 of Cups in tarot in general can talk about reunions, can talk about coming back together with friends and loved ones and all that good stuff. And maybe that's, maybe that's what you're waiting for. But again, don't put your life on hold. Don't do that, okay? But there is that intention or desire here from you, from them, from both of you, from everybody involved. Who knows? It feels like for some of you, it's not enough, or believe it when you see it. If it's like this is here, but it's kind of small, like it's like possibly fading, or there's not enough. Okay, let's say it that way. Leo, we've been talking a lot this whole reading about like sort of, higher perspective or higher levels of how to interpret these cards, right? And seeing deeper or within them. And this might be a little surface, Three of Cups, to be honest. If this is you or someone else, I don't know who, desiring something, it seems to be for the sake of it, for the sake of a good time, for the sake of some laughs, for the sake of, walking down memory lane, or for the sake of, just having a reason to celebrate something. And it's boxed in three ways by three very spiritual cards. Like I said, this reading is deeper than I think it might look initially on paper, so to speak. So there is a chance that this is too little too late, or that the desire is there but there's no follow through, or that for now it's not the true essence that you would want it to be. This is, hey, let's get together for coffee. Or, oh my God, I miss hanging out with you. Or, oh, I this and that and da-da-da. It's that missing of fun, which Leo is known to bring to the party, okay? So someone might come to you, Leo, or you might go to someone and say, hey, I miss all the good times we had. Okay, cool. I miss them too. But what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? 1, 2, 3. In the grand scheme of things, what does that mean? You miss my fun, you miss my friendship, you miss our connection, you miss the whatever. Great, I miss it too. But what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? On a soul level, what does that mean? For some of you Leos, I don't know, there's something here about that. I'm not going to pretend to try and understand or know the answer to that, because it's different for everybody. But that could be what's going on, because again, I'm feeling like that's like maybe, and that would be, okay, that would make sense. One more time with this freaking driving analogy. Let's say, again, your friend gets held back at the yellow light. They brake, or they go off and they take the wrong exit. They're on their detour, and you're continuing towards the destination. And you arrive hours before them, days before them, what have you. And you get out your car and you start to explore, and you go inside the shops and you take photographs and you do all these things, whatever. And by the time they get there, they're like, okay, I'm ready to do the thing. And you're like, well, I've already done a lot of this, and I'm ready to move on to the next destination. You get me? So there is this feeling perhaps that in the time that you've spent apart, your experience and their experience, you've both done different things, because when they got off at their exit, maybe they made a pit stop along the way. Oh, did you know that over here there's this thing, and I did that, and I saw this, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And now you're realizing, okay, you went and you experienced this, and I went and experienced that, and maybe we no longer align. And again, that's that whole idea that maybe the soulmate that you've envisioned isn't the soulmate that you continue with or continue towards. You get what I mean? I hope that makes sense. All right, so what's the advice here for Leo in this situation? What is the advice here for Leo in this situation? What is the advice for Leo going forward? Is it dinner time? It is. Oh, is that 2? It is. All right. Oh, well, it's coming. So we come right back around to how I started the message. It's coming. Either this specific person, they come back and they show up and they've upped their game, or you've upped your game, because again, Leo, it's a general, it can go the vice versa. All right, so let's be fair. But whoever comes back, they might up their game. 4 of Wands and the Sun card. Leo energy there with the Sun card secondary. And then the 4 of Wands. Again, further depictions of celebrations, but it's also, look at these 2 women dancing with the tambourine. It's like they're going to a festival or something like that. So maybe some of you legit, this gets on and popping again when things get back to normal, and you can go to fucking Coachella again or something like that. And I'm being very, it's such an arbitrary example or visual that I've got there, but it's literally maybe some of your friendships, because 3 of Cups really is about friendship. It can be, other connections in our lives, but It could literally be when festivities are more permissible in our lives. That's when this journey continues. Okay, that makes a lot of sense because 2020 shut a lot of shit down. You know what I mean? But regardless of how it actually manifests or how it actually shows up, this feels like this is exactly what you knew, Leo. You have known, possibly since you were little, or at least sometime previous to this current present moment. You have known something of a certain type of significant foundation, joyous festivities, deep contentment, pleasure, joy is yours. And I said it earlier, maybe I didn't emphasize it enough. You have also created that. I've alluded to that, at least in this reading, and I've mentioned it through other readings throughout this mid-January series, that you can have it. You create it. You can recreate it. You can uncreate it. If we talk about, in this community, co-creating with the universe, that means I can go back and edit. That means I can scrap the project and start over. That means I can change whatever the fuck I want whenever I want. Some of you will change it. You're gonna change who shows up in your life because you put out a different vibration. You have different expectations in your life. Or people meet up with you after some time and they've changed. So you kind of already know whatever it is, dare I say, a blessing, it's yours. You just don't know when and where it's going to show up and how it's going to show up. And maybe that's also kind of with the sun energy, it's kind of like expect the unexpected or be open to it, the different ways in which this joy, this pleasure can show up in your life, okay? Leo, that is your reading for mid-January. If you like this reading, please hit the like button. If it resonated with you, please share that down below with a comment. I'd love to read that. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing, okay? Leo, I'll be back soon with your February readings. I think I might introduce something new to the channel soon. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so you can see that. And if you do want to get at me for a personal reading, the information again is in the description box below, okay? Leo, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Take care.